Hey guys, it's Carter, and today we are looking at the frozen concentrate orange juice futures contract chart for the first time on this channel since October, when I was really bearish on this chart when we were at around 495. And it was at this point right here we printed a gravestone candle on the monthly chart. I'm going to show you now a clip of what I had to say at the time of recording. Roll the clip. I believe we are near a long-term top on the chart of orange juice here. Why do I believe that? This purple candle that we printed in September, this is a gravestone doji. So on a gravestone doji candle, you see a long wick to the upside, little to no wick to the downside, and a tiny little body. So this, at the top of a very extended rally, is a potential bearish reversal signal. The way you nullify that is by closing above the top of the tail here. So if we close this October month or any month down the line above 510, I will consider this a nullified bearish doji. But until then, this is an extremely powerful, potentially bearish reversal signal. And we can't just ignore that. So as you can see, in October, I was extremely bearish at the time of recording on this chart and said, if we don't close a month above this level here, above this wick at around 510, we are not going to see much more upside before we see a huge collapse in the price of orange juice. And sure enough, we've went from the highs here of 550 but never closed above 510 on the monthly scale, and in the last couple of months have dropped over 40% down to 310 US dollars. Now I actually think we're overheated to the downside. I'm looking for a bounce. So in this video here, I'm going to show you the levels that I think we're going to fall into for this bounce to occur, where I think this bounce is going to take us in the coming weeks and months, and then ultimately where I'm looking for orange juice contracts to head in the coming years. Now, please remember that I'm not a financial advisor and that I don't give financial advice. However, here on the monthly chart, look at the stochastic RSI momentum. It is now shooting straight down after rejecting at this resistance level that I talked about in that last video in October. I said this was concerning. Also, the divergence on the monthly scale has been playing out. So we have completed what I think is an impulsive move to the upside here. This last push to the upside was occurring in a diagonal. And now I think we are overheated to the downside. Let's look at the daily chart for the levels that I am looking for a bounce to occur. All right, we're now looking at the daily chart of the frozen orange juice concentrate contracts, and you can see that since falling out of this diagonal to the upside, we've been in free fall. So this is a falling knife right now, about to head into a potential pocket of support I have outlined right here between 285 and 295. So the lower bound of this support level comes from the ascending support in here and this horizontal support in here. So I believe we're going to find a little bit of support somewhere in the upper 200s and then see a bounce. If we do see a bounce here, I would look for this bounce to likely be corrective to occur in 3 waves rather than be impulsive and occur in 5 waves. So impulsive means we would then likely see a correction after that and then see further highs. I don't think that's likely. I think given the fact that we've completed a 5-wave move already and the drop we've just seen as being so rapid to the downside, we are likely going to see a corrective bounce in the weeks and months to come, and then further downside to come after that. I think we are not done this correction overall, but we have to watch the nature of this bounce right here over the coming weeks and months. So the nature of this bounce that's going to presumably start in the coming weeks will tell us a lot about where orange juice is going to head in the near future. So for the next few months, expect a rally. I believe we are going to retrace a decent part of this move to the downside. So if we have a target here and set it for a low of around 285, somewhere around there, it's likely we're going to retrace up over 400 and into potentially as high as the mid 400s. So I believe we are going to find a bounce here on orange juice that takes us towards the low to mid 400s before we see further downside. But once again, we need to see the nature of this bounce and how it forms. So yeah, currently orange juice is way overheated to the downside. I would look for a corrective bounce to occur soon, but we need to watch how this bounce plays out to see where orange juice has a high probability of heading in the future, but I would not be surprised if this is a corrective bounce that takes us into the low to mid 400s, and then ultimately we see another leg down that takes us into the low 200s.